What's good, my G's? It's your boy Snow, Ignorant Gamers in the house. How you doing? How you living? How you gaming? Of course, if you don't already know, G stands for Gamerz. Welcome to the channel if you're here for the first time. And for everyone who's subscribed, you already know y'all team IGZ. Love y'all. Thank y'all for all the support, especially recently. We've been cooking with gas. You already. So I want to get into this game by Ubisoft called For Honor. It was the beta. I gotta be honest with you, wasn't really looking forward to this game. I'm a little upset with Ubisoft. Those who are team IGZ, y'all already know that. And this video isn't to be a piss on Ubisoft moment. This is just giving props to where props need to be given. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get into quick feelings about the game and quick points, and then I'm gonna stress whatever I need to stress towards the end. Graphically, I'm playing on the Xbox One, so I'm pretty sure wherever it else is going to be is going to look better. And the Xbox One version looked pretty good. I enjoyed the environments. I enjoyed the way the characters looked, the way they felt. I enjoyed the gear in some cases where I was able to get gear. I even liked the little animations that they did when you have like 2v2, I think 3v3 and 4v4, or actually anything dealing with real people. I like the little animation that they do right before you go into the match. When it's against the AI, they don't do too much, but unless it's one of the higher up ones, not on 1v1. I also like the emotes. I just kind of felt like they probably should have had more. Maybe that's something that's in the final game. You can earn more for your characters. The sound of the game was actually all around good. I have no issues with that. I was wearing my headset. What headset do I have? My Poke Striker ZXs, and I generally stand by those. It was a very good headset that I purchased and pretty much heard everything. The only thing that I'm not 100% sure on was when I started doing the multiple people on screen, when the second player would enter, whether he killed my partner or he was just running away from my partner. I never heard him enter. I never heard his footsteps. He just appeared on my screen, and sometimes that caught me off guard. As far as the campaign modes, this is probably where I have the least amount of experience, because I had trouble getting to the 4-on-4, whether it was just 4-on-4 all AI or 4-on-4 with friends or 4-on-4 multiplayer. It just wasn't working on my end. Other people had a lot of success, and I'm just gonna chalk that up to me being part of the Xbox One insider, aka preview. So I'm just gonna chalk that up to that. I was not able to get any matches against real people. I also messed up on there being some type of campaign-like thing of a mission, so I can't talk about that either. But I was able to play bots, and that was actually probably better than anything else that could have happened. Playing against the bots allowed me to fully understand what the game is about on a one-on-one level. Your timing, your identifying what the attacks are looking like, identifying what your meters are, getting hit, your stamina, your ability to drop a fatality on somebody, like all those things. I actually am very grateful that with my short time of playing I was stricken to 1v1, and I have footage that was just showing, like the footage that's on screen now is just me playing a bunch of 1v1 matches, and I was getting killed, and it was a little bit of frustrating. But even with that, I was still able to understand what was going on. And well, I might as well just call this the gameplay mechanics, but anyway, let me keep talking. So I'm in gameplay mechanics, and the blocking, the parrying, the sidestepping, the backstep and swinging at the same time provide like a nice little strategy if you can do it the correct way. Later I met a character that was 2 small swords, and her fucking sidesteps were crazy and her attack was crazy. And I've heard issues about from the alpha that there was some kind of balancing issues, and I can see there being some. I'm pretty sure those were fixed, but I can see there being some. But overall, I do believe that if the game connects with you on a fighting level, you will learn how to adjust with any character that you have. My worst character was the one with the spear with the dagger at the end of it. They're meant for long range, and I couldn't consistently upgrade my fighting with that character as I did with other one. And by the time I picked that character, I already had leveled up level 3 one character, level 2 another character, and level 1 every other character except one other character that I didn't have enough money to buy. So I thought that I would have had a good grasp by that character. I specifically, with the money I could afford, the characters that I did unlock, picked that character last because I used to play Dynasty Warriors and a few other games, and when you have a character with a long fucking staff like that, or a long stick with a spear or whatever, they tend to require more TLC. So on that note, everything else was pretty good, and I was super surprised that I was enjoying this game because, again, I've been having a lot of personal beef with Ubisoft, and I think that they've been shorthanding people on that, but that's another thing. What I really enjoyed about some of the Ubisoft games as of late, where, let's talk about Rainbow Six Siege. The classes and the characters in those classes basically have their own personalities in a very small compartmentalized way, and that was like, okay, you can't use the light tactics from this one character and use it for this other character. Like, you have to play to the strength of the characters, and you have to play to what that character is supposed to do. So, you know, you got a character, one of those light characters that have light shield or damn near no shield, or no armor rather, you have to take advantage of the speed that that character has. Just know that you'll probably get knocked out with 3 heavy attacks, but, you know, stick and move, baby. So the other thing that I pretty liked, that I liked a lot, was the 2 options to do a fatality. I do believe there were some of them that I thought was kind of corny. Hopefully they fix them up. But for the most part, I love the gore. I love the blood. I love chopping someone's head off. I love, you know, impaling. And I thought that was pretty cool. The more power guys, I remember he did like a headbutt and then stabbed the dude or whatever. I thought that was dope. And then it was a nice surprise. I discovered how to tackle. And on top of tackling, I like threw somebody off the bridge and they fell on their back. And this wasn't one of the throw-offs that where they instantly die and the round's over, but I was able to do like an impaling jump from off the item, from off the bridge onto the ground, and like kill that person that way. I thought that was a nice surprise. That was pretty dope. And then of course I tackled some dude and threw his ass off down into the rocks, and that was the game. And that was the end of that game, and that was a nice surprise too. I can see moves like that being spammed to newcomers, and they getting killed pretty quickly. But the other thing that I saw when using some of the other characters, that, you know, if you hit that right bumper or that right trigger at the right time, you stop all that shit of people running at you. So, you know, there's that. I think the snap-on mechanic, lock-on mechanic, and switching between 2, from what I experienced with like the big players, not the minion players. If you're in a 4v4 situation, I'm not entirely sure that was the best way to handle that. But then again, I was playing against computerized players, and I still was getting my ass whipped before that, because my AI partners were losing in the 2v2. Sorry, not the 4v4. But I see it being a major issue in the 4v4. In the 2v2, you know, I was losing. And you know, or the times when I would win and that other character would show up because they just beat that person, when they beat their person, my teammate, way before I can get to them. You know, they came from that field and not being able to hear them, so they come from like the left side, and you know, I basically get impaled or whatever. And you know, I found myself getting frustrated with that, but I don't think that's a cause of concern. I think it's just me telling you, so that way, you know, like, you gotta like really pay attention. And my frustration with just not hearing footsteps is going back to Battlefield 1, when people are charging at you and you can't fucking hear them unless they run past you. Then you hear their battle cry. Like, it's very fucking annoying. But other than that, I don't have anything else to add to it. It was addictively fun. Now, the only thing that I'm concerned about, what I kept hearing, is that this is peer-to-peer, and in this day and age, I don't know if there's more, but I've come across a lot more peer-to-peer bitch assness, and I can see that being an issue. Other than that, without seeing if there's like a full-on campaign or whatever, I can see some people being really pissed off with what seemingly is going to be light content, kind of like how Steep is light on content, you know, depending on what it is, but what it's going to deliver is actually pretty cool. Before I forget, let me just put this in there. I'd like the ability, it's almost like MAG, when we did MAG back in the days where you had to pick your faction and you're always representing that faction, and For Honor does the same thing. However, while you're doing your thing, you can have like a meta game going on in between that, where you send in the troops to go do some shit, almost on some Metal Gear Solid 5 shit, where you doing this mission and you're sending your troops to go do some side shit. And there's a constant war going on between the samurai, the Vikings, and the shit. Who the fuck is the other guys? I forget the name of the other guys. But it's 3 factions, and y'all all going at it. And on a global scale, you can see where, you know, you taking over land, and sometimes all 3 factions are there, so y'all gotta fight all 3 of them, and sometimes it's you versus them, and you versus one other one in another place. And then I think the seasons are broken up into 8 weeks, and you know, at the end of all that, everybody who participated gets something. And then if y'all won, you get a little bit more, and that you contribute to that whether you're playing online or offline. That's dope. I think that's pretty dope. So, you know, choose wisely. I'm gonna say Team Samurai just off the back in case I end up with it. But you know, other than that, you know, I was very surprised with my very limited time with the game. Again, I didn't think I was gonna play it. Plus, I had a very busy weekend, and I'd say I probably got about 4 hours with it, less than 4 hours, maybe even 3. I probably spent the whole hour just looking around the environment one time. But you know, other than that, I thought it was pretty cool. Maybe fix some of those loading times, but even the loading times wasn't that much of a deal. But again, that's me playing offline, not versus other actual people, so that may vary with that goes. And you know, I'm sorry that I don't have an experience online to tell you how that would have panned out, but for the most part, I did enjoy it. It's a pleasant surprise to me. It has my attention. I will be paying attention to it. As far as you know, when it comes out, what's it gonna do? I believe the game comes out on Valentine's Day, so we shall see. Anyway, if you find the video helpful, if you have any questions, you know, be sure to leave a comment below. Like, subscribe if you're not subscribed already, and share. Tell a friend to tell a friend. That is them again. You already know, your boy Snow of the Ignorant Gamers, and I'm out. Peace, my G's.